In a world where television played it safe, one man decided to bet it all and changed history forever. Norman Lear, a restless creator with a vision, stumbled across a short article in Variety back in 1967. It mentioned a British show, Till Death Us Do Part, about a cranky, stubborn father battling his liberal son-in-law. Without even seeing a single frame, Lear felt a strange pull. That gut feeling drove him to secure the rights immediately. But when he finally watched it, he realized the original was far too raw for American screens. So he tore it apart and rebuilt it, threading pieces of his own turbulent upbringing into the DNA of a new character. Archie Bunker, a man who would soon divide and define a nation. Norman Lear wasn't just creating a character, he was challenging the very fabric of polite American TV. He wove the rage and narrow-mindedness he'd witnessed firsthand into Archie, channeling the voice of his own father, a man known to bark, "Stifle yourself," at his mother, and who, neighbors joked, was the laziest white man they'd ever seen. Little did Lear know, those exact words would later echo in living rooms across the country, sparking debates that would even reach the Oval Office. The first attempt to introduce America to Archie came in 1968, under the title Justice for All. Carroll O'Connor and Gene Stapleton played the leads, but back then, Archie's last name wasn't Bunker. It was Justice. The chemistry was still raw, the characters a little stiff, and though the pilot ended with a fierce political argument at an anniversary party, ABC flinched. They rejected it, too edgy for their tastes, too real. Lear was undeterred. Like a gambler who sees his winning hand before the cards are dealt, he pitched again. Another pilot, another shot. This time called Those Were the Days, filmed in 1969, with small tweaks. Archie had flashes of vulnerability. Edith, a sharper tongue. CBS still hesitated, but Lear pressed on, and finally the pieces clicked into place when CBS greenlit the show under a new, now iconic name, All in the Family. If a single moment could have sent this entire empire crashing down, it was the near casting of Mickey Rooney. Lear, desperate to lock down a lead, offered Rooney the role of Archie. But when he heard the script, the brutal honesty, the controversial jokes, Rooney recoiled, warning Lear that no network would dare air it. That rejection cleared the way for Carroll O'Connor, a lesser-known actor Lear had admired for years. And when O'Connor read for Archie, there was no turning back. Although O'Connor himself demanded a round-trip ticket back to Rome should the project implode, destiny had other plans. O'Connor didn't just play Archie Bunker, he became him. Meanwhile, Gene Stapleton, another puzzle piece critical to the show's chemistry, delivered something magical. During auditions, she unveiled Edith's now legendary high-pitched voice, instantly locking down the heart of the character. That voice, strange yet endearing, made Edith unforgettable. When you consider how fragile television success can be, it's almost chilling to think how easily that detail could have been lost. Behind the scenes, personal connections shaped the cast even further. Rob Reiner, cast as Meathead, wasn't just another struggling actor. Norman Lear had known him since he was a boy. The son of comedy titan Carl Reiner, cracking jokes poolside. Lear recognized Rob's raw comedic instincts before anyone else, and years later, that intuition paid off. Not only did Rob shine on the show, but Lear would later bankroll Reiner's early directing career, seeding projects like This Is Spinal Tap, a movie that would change mockumentaries forever. Sally Struthers' journey into the role of Gloria was a twist of fate itself. Competing against Penny Marshall, Rob Reiner's girlfriend at the time, Sally figured she had no chance. Yet it wasn't chemistry or comic timing that won her the role. Lear confessed later that it was her blue eyes and round face, matching Carroll O'Connor's, that sealed the deal. This visual link softened Archie's rough edges, allowing audiences to believe in his complicated, flawed love for his daughter. Sometimes, The smallest details build the biggest emotional bridges. But Hollywood's fear was real. In 1969, ABC's catastrophic experience with the show Turn On left the network gun-shy. Turn On was so badly received that some stations pulled it off the air mid-broadcast. Panicked, ABC grew terrified of anything remotely controversial. When Lear pitched them Archie Bunker, a man who openly insulted minorities and swore like a sailor, they froze. They weren't ready. But CBS, cleaning house and craving younger, urban audiences, decided to roll the dice. They bought Lear's vision, retitled it, and gambled on something the networks had never dared touch before. Raw, uncomfortable, hilarious truth. When All in the Family finally premiered on January 12, 1971, CBS didn't cushion the blow. No warm-up, no easing in. Within minutes, Archie rattled off insults that left viewers stunned. The network even aired a warning beforehand, advising audiences that the show intended to satirize, not promote, prejudice. But nothing could prepare America for the cultural earthquake Archie Bunker would cause. Behind the controversial success, the financial empire of the cast and creators grew at breakneck speed. Carroll O'Connor, once cautious, parlayed his success into real estate investments, owning luxury homes in Malibu and Arizona, later selling properties at multi-million-dollar profits. He had a taste for classic Cadillacs, often spotted cruising in models like the 1969 Cadillac DeVille, a fitting symbol for TV royalty. Jean Stapleton, though quieter with her wealth, invested heavily in New York real estate, maintaining a modest but powerful portfolio. She famously valued steady income streams over flashy purchases, a smart move many modern celebrities could learn from. Rob Reiner transitioned from actor to multi-millionaire director. He invested early in tech startups during Silicon Valley's first boom, a move that ballooned his fortune far beyond Hollywood salaries. His penchant for Rolex watches, especially the iconic Daytona model, became part of his public persona, symbolizing not just luxury, but smart asset appreciation. Sally Struthers, too, found surprising wealth, not just from acting but from voiceover work and steady real estate moves, quietly building a nest egg that kept her comfortable long after the spotlight faded. Insurance played a critical role behind the scenes. All major cast members secured personal and career insurance early on, covering health, property, and earnings protection against sudden career downturns, a move that proved essential during contract disputes and aging careers. Norman Lear himself, always thinking ahead, took out massive business insurance policies covering production losses, legal battles, and intellectual property rights, ensuring that no single lawsuit could ever threaten the foundation he built. The network executives were terrified. They braced for a tidal wave of outrage. Extra phone lines buzzed to life. Call center workers stood by. But then, silence. Instead of the furious backlash everyone predicted, there was interest. A handful of confused viewers called, asking if the show would return. Yet the anger never came. In a twist nobody saw coming, America didn't rebel. It leaned closer, curious. At first, the show barely made a ripple, placing a modest 34th in its first season. But then the magic happened. Reruns began airing, and whispers turned into a chorus. Viewers were telling their neighbors, co-workers, even strangers, "You have to watch this." Slowly, then, all at once, the audience exploded. When CBS gave All in the Family a prime Saturday night slot at 8 p.m., it was like lighting a fuse. By the end of the 1971-72 season, the show wasn't just popular. It was a cultural phenomenon, capturing the #1 spot and clenching it in an iron grip for an astonishing 5 straight years. Imagine that. 5 years where Archie Bunker's living room became America's living room, where every snarky jab and unexpected emotional punch spoke louder than the nightly news. It was crude. It was uncomfortable. It was absolutely real. Behind the scenes, stories were just as explosive. In 1976, a Christmas episode nearly vanished into oblivion. Writer Jay Marathi had crafted The Draft Dodger, a script so powerful it could split households. His agent claimed Norman Lear rejected it, but that was a lie. It sat gathering dust until the political winds shifted. As Jimmy Carter campaigned on pardoning Vietnam draft dodgers, the shelved script suddenly burned with new urgency. The story was combustible. Archie Bunker hosting a Gold Star father for Christmas dinner, only for a young draft dodger to show up at the same table. The emotional tension? You could cut it with a knife. And in the most gut-wrenching moment, instead of outrage, Pinky Peterson, the bereaved father, chose compassion, telling Archie that if his own son were alive, he would have wanted peace too. It was a line so raw, it felt torn from America's heart. Yet even then, fear gripped the network. CBS, worried about religious backlash, forced Norman Lear to overdub a critical scene, clumsily smoothing Archie's heated language. Viewers instantly noticed the mismatch, the unnatural patchwork of censorship that ironically made the rawness even sharper. It was a brutal reminder of how fragile truth was on 1970s television. A powerful hook hit next. What aired that Christmas wasn't just television, it became history. Weeks later, Jimmy Carter kept his promise, signing Proclamation 4483, offering unconditional pardons to draft dodgers. It was a move that thrilled some and enraged many. Polls revealed only 20% of Americans approved. Lear's Christmas table had mirrored America's rift perfectly. Norman Lear didn't stop shaking the foundations. Even decades later, he proved unstoppable. In 2019, teaming up with Jimmy Kimmel, Lear recreated All in the Family live, word for word, starring Woody Harrelson and Jamie Foxx. It should have been nostalgic fun, but reality intervened. When an old racial slur surfaced in the script, ABC bleeped it out. Even in tribute, Lear's work proved too fierce for modern audiences. What once aired raw now needed edits. Another reminder that Lear's truths, once shocking, remained dangerous even today. Born in 1922, Norman Lear lived for storytelling. His shows were not just entertainment, they were living, breathing reflections of America's struggle with itself. His own upbringing, with a domineering father who often barked at Lear's mother to stifle herself, became the seed for Archie Bunker's gruff bluster. Lear's goal wasn't to offend, it was to hold up a mirror. As he once said, "I don't think I consciously thought anything we were doing was controversial." Yet controversial he was, because he told stories nobody else dared. And it wasn't just the raw themes that captured attention. Lear's financial journey is equally astonishing. Once a struggling writer in the 1950s, Lear's empire today is estimated to be worth a towering $200 million. His fortune grew steadily through daring productions, smart syndication deals, and real estate investments. His lavish Montecito mansion alone is valued at over $55 million, a sprawling estate once listed among the most expensive homes in California. His luxury taste didn't stop there. Lear has been known to drive a rare 1956 Mercedes-Benz 300 SL Gullwing, and his wrist often sported vintage Patek Philippe timepieces, prized among collectors. With his real estate holdings across California and New York, Lear's property empire is valued close to $90 million. His private aviation? Lear reportedly traveled aboard a customized Gulfstream G450, ensuring comfort and class wherever work called him. And looking forward, financial experts believe that through syndication rights alone, Lear's estate could continue to generate tens of millions annually for decades. A surge of curiosity swept through America once again when All in the Family tackled even riskier subjects. In 1972, the episode The Bunkers and the Swingers set TV sets ablaze. Sweet Edith Bunker accidentally answered a personal ad from a pair of swingers looking for excitement, thinking they simply wanted friends. The audience squirmed and roared as innocence clashed with outrageous misinterpretation. At the time, critics marveled. Had anything like this ever aired on American TV? That episode alone sealed Lear's reputation as a pioneer willing to dance on the third rail of society. But perhaps no episode rattled cages more than judging books by covers. With effortless humor and razor-edged wit, Lear flipped stereotypes when Archie's macho drinking buddy turned out to be gay. Not the more feminine friend everyone suspected. President Richard Nixon, flipping through channels searching for a baseball game, stumbled upon the episode. His rage was immortalized in the White House tapes, furious at what he called pro-gay propaganda. If ever there was proof that Lear's work struck at the very heart of American power structures, it was this. The genius and danger of satire collided in a way few had predicted. Norman Lear had hoped to shine a light on ignorance through humor, but it turned out that humor, when mixed with deep familiarity, can sometimes reinforce the very flaws it seeks to fix. One powerful reminder of this came when author Laura Z. Hobson, famed for Gentleman's Agreement, called out the show for accidentally normalizing bigotry. Her fierce New York Times essay warned that making a character lovable can make dangerous ideas seem acceptable. Imagine the chilling realization that your sharpest tool for change might also blunt your message. But Norman Lear fought back, challenging critics with a question that struck straight to the heart. Hadn't everyone known someone lovable yet deeply flawed? An uncle, a neighbor, a parent? Lear believed showing the struggle behind the ignorance, the fear of a world moving too fast, could open more minds than lecturing ever could. It was a gamble that paid off and backfired in equal measure. Even CBS, nervous at first, slapped a warning before every episode and braced for angry calls. Yet what started with a mere 15% audience share quickly exploded into the #1 show in America. Audiences weren't just tuning in, they were living it. When Gene Stapleton made the painful decision to leave, it wasn't some diva move fueled by ego or money. It was a quiet, deeply personal choice to protect her artistic soul. Stapleton adored Edith Bunker, but she feared being forever trapped inside that apron and soft voice. Her departure felt like losing a family member. Imagine knowing you're walking away from something millions of people treasure, and doing it anyway because you respect the art that much. The show's world was changing fast. Archie's life shifted from his cozy kitchen to the bustling chaos of Kelsey's bar, which he bought by forging Edith's signature. A reckless move dripping with stubborn pride. New faces arrived, old friendships fractured, and the once tightly knit Bunker family splintered into raw, real-world struggles. Mike and Gloria, the golden couple, found themselves fraying at the edges, burdened by life's grinding realities. Meanwhile, Archie and Edith's decision to take in young Stephanie after her father's abandonment pulled at the heartstrings, marking a turn toward deeper, heavier storylines that dared audiences to grow alongside their favorite characters. The series finale, Too Good Edith, delivered a final devastating blow. Edith, ever the quiet hero, hid her illness to support Archie's dreams one last time. When Archie finally realized the truth, his raw confession, "I ain't nothing without you," ripped through the screen and into the soul of every viewer. That vulnerability, so rare in television back then, left an indelible mark. But Hollywood isn't known for letting go easily. CBS wanted more. Norman Lear hesitated, but Carol O'Connor agreed, with one condition. The story had to change. Thus, Archie Bunker's Place was born. Without Edith, though, something essential was missing. One haunting scene, Archie alone, speaking to an empty chair, begging Edith for just one more conversation, captured the full magnitude of the loss. The financial journeys of these legends aren't just success stories. They're blueprints. Invest wisely. Ensure what matters. Build more than one stream of income. Above all, stay true to your vision, even when the world doesn't understand it yet. These lessons, wrapped in humor, heartache, and unforgettable moments, are the true legacy of All in the Family, a show that didn't just mirror America, but dared it to be better. And that's a wrap on the legends who changed TV forever. Smash that like button, drop your thoughts below, and subscribe. Because the next story? It's even bigger.